let's have a look at the Victorian Liberal Party, a party that is such a train wreck that this week Peter Dutton was threatening federal intervention. And that intervention can't come soon enough because the bedwetters who run the party are wanting to expel not just Moira Deeming, but on Friday were threatening to sanction two other female MPs, Renee Heath and Bev McArthur. But it appears over the weekend the bloodlust for punishing female Conservatives has dimmed slightly and the witch hunt will just be focused on Moira Deeming. You know, the first-term female MP who is a survivor of child sexual abuse, who's a warrior for girls and women, one of the few candidates who actually performed well during the Libs' disastrous election campaign. This latest crisis is entirely self-inflicted. Isn't it always with the Victorian Libs? And this drama all started when John Pesutto, a man who has never and never will lay a glove on Dan Andrews, he decided to defame his own MP as some sort of a Nazi sympathiser because she attended a women's rights rally that was gatecrashed by hundreds of far-left activists and around 24 cosplaying Nazi morons. Instead of calling out Dan Andrews' cynical tactics of blaming women for the actions of around 20 Nazi-loving idiots, or condemning the far-left activists engaging in violence that saw several women injured, including his own MP who was physically assaulted that day, Pesutto opted to be Dan's useful idiot. He launched into a hysterical attack against Moira Deeming, accusing her of being connected to Nazis and white supremacists, all of it based on false information from a Wikipedia page and social media posts. Really amateur hour stuff here. Frankly, Pesutto should count himself lucky that he's not being sued by the Let Women Speak organisers, Kelly J. Keane and Angela Jones. And now he's going to have another shot at expelling Moira Deeming, and this time he and his bully boys may succeed.
I think, there's a couple of terrorists within the Parliamentary Party who need to work out whether they want to sit with the Parliamentary Party or not.
There are 3 or 4 terrorists who care more about blowing up the Liberal Party than they do Daniel Andrews.
That was the hopelessly ineffective member for Brighton, James Newbury, and Matthew Guy, the man who lost twice in landslide elections to Dan Andrews. Those two, along with Roma Britnell, Cindy McLeish and Wayne Farnham, have signed a notice of motion to expel Deeming for bringing discredit on the parliamentary team. Those last 3 names are absolute non-entities. No one in Victoria knows who they are, and yet they sit in Parliament collecting taxpayers' salaries while achieving absolutely nothing. Well, I should point out that they have achieved one thing, making the Victorian Libs an unelectable rabble. This is a party that went to the last election as the smallest small L Liberals in the country. They wanted emission target reductions that were higher than the Albanese government. They promised to enforce Labor's radical trans policies, including self-ID, which currently sees a male sexual predator in a female prison in Melbourne. The Vic Libs back a treaty with the Indigenous population and they went to the election with spending promises that dwarfed Labor's big spending ways. At a time when Victoria has accrued record debt, the biggest of any state, that's what they were proposing. What they didn't have as a policy were any plans to reform state taxes, cut red tape in the energy sector to increase supply of cheap, reliable energy, or anything to counter Labor's radical culture wars. They were on board with the insanity 100%. And guess what? We already have a Labor government delivering that. We don't need Liberal imposters. But not satisfied with embarrassing themselves by trying to out-Labor Labor, the party seems determined to lurch even further left, to become even more unelectable. The Liberals under Matthew Guy stood for nothing and got the drubbing they richly deserve, but they seem to be even more rudderless, more hopeless under John Pesutto. By attacking women like Moira Deeming, Renee Heath, Bev McArthur, they're sending a clear message to their members and the wider Victorian community that they have a problem with women, and they are weak, unprincipled and not a viable alternative. Pesutto has been in the job a few months and is best known now for making 2 of his first-term female MPs cry, according to media reports. That prompted this comment from Premier Dan Andrews earlier in the week.
I would have thought the Leader of the Opposition was a bit brave to be lecturing anybody on personal behaviour today. Of all days, if I were you, I'd stick to abusing women in your party room.
Oh, yes. John Pesutto has shown himself to be unfit to be leader of the Liberal Party. He will likely survive his latest self-created mess, but it's only a matter of time before he is sent packing.